COVID-19 changed real estate just as much as it changed everything else in our society. In the past, real estate transactions took place in one of a few locations, an agent's office, an attorney's office, an escrow office, a bank's office. But now, the closing table is anything but. Sometimes, the close is completely virtual. It's virtual signing of documents, virtual discussions, and the parties never actually meet. I just sold a townhouse for $57 million over FaceTime. The buyer never even actually saw the property. Location and setting have a huge part to play in closing on day one. And being able to navigate any place and time, including in the digital space, puts you at an advantage over those that are not consistent or successful communicators when not in person. And this is where the fifth and final step comes into play: work the setting. When thinking about the setting or location of an interaction, I start by using those same question words that we were all taught in grade school. Who am I talking to? Why am I talking to them? What I need to say to them, when the best time to communicate is, and where the best place to communicate is. Now, if you've done steps 1 to 4 of the CODO method, you already have all the information that you need for step 5. A phone call with the retired couple looking for a beachfront property is going to sound very different than a text message to the young family relocating to a city apartment for a job. Your vocabulary, your tone, and level of formality are all things that you're going to adjust depending on who you are talking to and why. For example, I never send bad news with a text or email. While bad news is harder to deliver live and it's much easier to just send an email, you owe the other person to deliver it live. It's part of the job. Your voice is one of comfort when something just went down the drain. And written communication just doesn't cut it when you need that kind of compassion. That's why I look for empathy when I'm hiring any agent that works with me. I mean, think about it. Would you want someone to break up with you over text? How impersonal is that? You'll hate that person for the rest of your life, even if they have, in their own mind, a good reason to do it. You need to hear them. It needs to be a conversation. This isn't a real estate business. A house isn't selling itself to another house. This is a people business. And a dead deal today could be an amazing deal 3 years from now because of a relationship that spawned out of the way you handled that bad situation. That's what closers do, in good situations and bad ones. And if you're getting in touch for something sensitive, text or email would work well, especially if you've already established either of these as a means of communication with your client. When communicating in a way that isn't face-to-face, knowing your audience and purpose keeps your eye on the prospect of closing and inherently makes your negotiation power stronger. Now, if you check out your workbook, there's a place for you to flex this muscle and write for different audiences and in different settings. It's a skill that takes time to develop, but it's the skill that can unlock a world of opportunity and success. The who and why then determine the what, which is exactly how you say or word things. Now, your language and word choice, from greeting to goodbye, is critical to maintaining the relationship you have with your clients, and even more critical in closing on day one. CODO. Last are the when and the where. Coffee shop at 4 p.m., phone call 9 a.m., office, text message, morning, lunchtime, on the commute home. Before you make any determination, think about how you want to make someone feel. Once you know that, the rest comes easily. Are you meeting with the other agent? Do you want to feel powerful and in control? Then schedule the meeting at your office in the morning. You're fresh, you're ready to go on your turf. Are you meeting with a new client who's looking for a place in a certain neighborhood? Pull up the Yelp reviews and find a great coffee shop in that area and meet them at a time when you know that it's going to be quiet so you can hear each other talk. And then I think about playing for the other side to win. Remember? And sometimes that means putting yourself in a less than perfect situation, but a great situation for the potential deal, for that potential close. You're always going to be more comfortable in your own space, where you know the resources and you have your own colleagues around you. Playing for the opposition might mean that you meet in the other agent's office, or them be the ones to feel like they have the upper hand. Might make you feel uncomfortable, but it might be beneficial to getting the deal done, because you want them to feel like they're winning. And to do that, that person, who might be more insecure than you, needs to feel like they control the power in their own setting. But what do you do when you lose that control? When the space you're in isn't neutral, and the setting is one that puts your deal in danger? There are a few things that I think of as best practice when something is throwing you off your game. One, take a breath. Get up, get some water, and remind yourself that whatever is not going your way here is just one bump on a much longer climb. It's not a brick wall, you're not turning around, it's a speed bump. It's okay, slow down a little bit, you stay on the road. Two, set boundaries. So maybe you're at an impasse, right? There's no deal, it's never gonna happen. You can't come to an agreement, and you're on the phone in the lobby of daycare pickup, so the setting isn't in your favor. And instead of being the weirdo yelling on the phone while the other parents give you funny looks, call a pause. Be transparent about not being in the best place or moment, and schedule a time to call back. Throw the red flag, challenging the play. We're going to put it on a pause, go to timeout, whatever you need to say, however you need to think about it. It's really that easy. Buy yourself some time. Three, shift the focus. Have you ever been arguing price for days and days with no end? Take a pause and start talking concessions, or furniture, or closing date, or closing costs, right? Anything that can take the focus off the thing that you can't get past and put your deal back on track. And the best part of this tactic is that often when something aside from money is on or off the table, people start seeing the big picture in a much clearer way. Four, change it up. Hang up the phone. Oh, no. End the lunch. What? Suggest another place or time that feels more in favor of the deal. Switching it up. Changing the setting can do wonders for a deal that feels like it's plateauing, and here you can also change the balance of power. In a sport, it's like icing the kicker. The other side's ready to go, they're gonna kick that field goal, they're gonna win. Oh, you call for the, what is it called? What is it? You throw a timeout, right? You do a timeout, it's called icing the kicker. Now the kicker's gotta think, now they're overthinking everything, they come back out, boom, they miss it. Oh, why, how, nothing changed, you iced them. Change up the balance of power. Take control back into your favor. Change the setting and do it as a surprise. The act of surprise, people aren't paying attention. All of a sudden, you control the situation. And when you get to those points in the transaction, you need to be ready and willing to push the deal off the plateau and toward the finish line. So up next, we're going to talk about just that.